Hi guys, this is your average Raghead Victor, and we will be looking at a sample set from the indie house Imaginary authors, and that is their short story collection. A quick shout out to my very good friend who lent me this for the review. I'm not going to disclose his name, but you know who you are. Thank you so much for letting me borrow this. All the samples you get here is a 2 ml decan, and there are a total of 15 fragrances to choose from, but you can only choose 8 when you're buying this set. And this is currently sold out in their website, but this is priced at $38. The presentation of this one is great. The box was made to look like a book, which complements the name of the house really well, and the samples inside are sitting in these foamy materials. A friend mentioned that it looks like a bunch of babe juice just because how colorful each decants are. So I got a total of 9 fragrances here, with this being an extra one, and each of them has a story that you can read in the official website of Imaginary Authors. I'll put the link in the description box below. I highly recommend checking those out. Starting off with Slow Explosion. Notes listed in here are saffron, rose, leather, apple, benzoin, and cashmeran. This opens up with a sophisticated smell to it, coming from the saffron, rose, and leather combo. And based on the story on their website, it really captured the ambience of an up-class or a classic bar, but it doesn't contain any booziness or alcoholic smell to it. Just the place itself, the smell of the leather seats, well-furnished scenery, that kind of a vibes. After 5 to 10 minutes, you will be able to detect the apple here with some sweetness coming from the benzoin and the cashmeran in the background. This has a good longevity, lasted on my skin for 6 hours, and I can easily see this pushing up to 8 hours on a cold weather or air-conditioned environment. Projection is a bit moderate for the first 1 to 1.5 hours. This is a sophisticated scent, good for fall and winter in a dress-up scenario. Great for dates, formal occasion, or even an office scent. This is still a fairly easy to wear fragrance, not daring, leather is not animalic, and rose is not that heavy or feminine. The juice here is blended really well. The next one is the COBRA and the CANARY. Notes listed in here are lemon orris, tobacco flowers, leather, hay fields, and asphalt. This opens up with asphalt and leather, followed by the hay fields after a minute or two. This really captured the vibe of a barn or a ranch. In the dry down of this will turn into a really nice leathery scent and a touch of iris in the background. Longevity on this is great. This lasted on my skin for 7 hours, but projection is a bit moderate at best for the first 1 to 1.5 hours. This is also a sophisticated scent, ideal for fall and winter, and great for dress-up attire for formal occasion. I can say that this is not easy to wear, but it's also not that daring. If you like leather-based fragrance, this is worth checking out. The next one is the Soft Lawn. For this one, you get linden blossom, laurel and ivy leaves, vetiver, oak moss, fresh tennis ball, and clay court. This opens up green, and the best way to describe it, it's the smell of a tennis ball, which is also part of the story of this fragrance. You can also smell the vetiver in the background as well, working with the tennis ball note. 10 to 15 minutes later, the smell develops into like you're standing in a tennis court. This is coming from the clay court note and some floral elements in the background coming from the linden blossom and laurel and ivy leaves. I got a great performance in this. One spray on my hand and it projects strongly for the first 1 to 1.5 hours. Then it lasted on my skin for 7 hours. The vetiver here is simple in my opinion, not much depth to it. Compared to, let's say, Sultan Vetiver, which is very sophisticated. This is leaning more on a casual wear. Great for spring and summer, good for outdoor activities. And of course, this is not that easy to wear as Vetiver is one of the key players here, along with the tennis ball. This is yesterday's haze. The notes we got here is fig, iris, cream, tonka, tree bark, walnut bitters, orchard dust. Upon the initial blast, you will immediately detect the fig here, and the smell is creamy because of the whipped cream, and some sweetness coming from the walnut and tonka. The scent is not overly sweet, but it has that playful vibe in it. 10 to 15 minutes later, the sweetness will die down and it will turn into a woody scent. Projection is moderate at best, but it lasted on my skin for about 5 to 6 hours. This is very versatile in my opinion, but leaning more on a casual kind of a scent. You can easily wear this in a dates gathering and in the office. This is pretty much really easy to wear unless you're sensitive to the smell of fig. The next one is Falling into the Sea. The notes you got here is lemon, bergamot, grapefruit, lychee, tropical flowers, and warm sand. This opens up citrusy, with lychee being the most prominent note, and you can also detect the lemon and grapefruit in the background. Then this will develop into a sandy floral scent with a little bit of bergamot in the background. This has a good projection for the first hour, and it lasted on my skin for around 6 hours. This isn't a full-fledged freshie that you can wear at the gym because of the sandy floral combo in the dry down. Nonetheless, this is still very versatile scent, but leaning more on a casual wear. You can wear this in gathering or school, office, but this is best worn in leisure where you are on a vacation. This really captures the smell of the beach really well. This is really easy to wear unless you don't like the smell of warm sand, as that is the most prominent note you get in the dry down. The next one is ACITY on Fire. The notes we got here is cade oil, spikenard, cardamom, clear wood, dark berries, labdanum, and burnt match. This opens up with cade oil, followed by a burning match with some labdanum at the background, and you can detect a touch of juniper here. The opening might be harsh, but once it settles down, it will develop into a smoky, woody, dark kind of a scent. The burning match, it's still there, but it's toned down, and you can detect the spikenard in the background. This is a great performer, lasted on my skin for about 7 to 8 hours, and it has a good projection for the first 1 to 1.5 hours. Not really a versatile scent, but this is a sophisticated one. Works really well in fall and winter, in dress-up scenario for formal occasions. This is a challenging fragrance because of the burning match note, but this is very artistic and one of the most unique I smelled so far. The next one is O Unknown. And the notes we got here is black tea, lapsang surchong, tincture, orris butter, Kyoto musk, musk balsam, and sandalwood. This opens up makeup coming from the orris, followed by the smell of black tea, and some woody elements coming from the sandalwood. In the dry down, this will develop into a powdery scent as the orris become more pronounced. Performance is average, lasted on my skin for about 5 to 6 hours, with moderate projection for the first hour. This is still a cold weather scent, ideal for fall and winter, and maybe the night of spring. You can wear this dress up, dress down, good for dates, gathering, and in the office. This is a bit easy to wear fragrance, but some people may not like the smell of the black tea here and the powdery profile of it. The next one is Cape Heartache, and the notes we got here is Douglas fir, pine resin, western hemlock, vanilla leaf, strawberry, old growth, and mountain fog. This opens up green, spicy, and a little bit sweet coming from the fir, followed by the smell of pine tree. In the dry down of this, it will develop into a sweet scent coming from the strawberry and vanilla. This is not your typical sweetness though, as there is some woody notes mixed in this and some green in the background coming from the fir, providing some sophistication to it. Performance on this is good. This has a moderate projection for the first 1 to 1.5 hours, and it lasted on my skin for around 5 to 6 hours. This is a versatile fragrance in my opinion because of the mix of green, sweet, and woody notes in this. You can wear this in fall, winter, and spring for dress up or dress down attires, good for dates, gathering, and in the office. Though this has some green in it, it's not that challenging like the notes of vetiver in some other fragrances. I can see this easily worn by anybody unless you don't like the smell of strawberry. And the last one we got here is Whispered Myths, and the notes break down on their website: natural Cambodian oud, cantaloupe, cedarwood, masdana, honey, and salvage shipwreck. This opens up woody with Cambodian oud and accompanied by some sweetness coming from the cantaloupe or melon. The oud here is not offending, but it's coming across very woody and dark. In the dry down of this, oud is still what you get, and the sweetness you got from the lemon has already died down. This developed into a animalic, skanky smelling kind of a scent. This has a great performance, lasting on my skin for around 8 hours, good projection for the first 1.5 hours. This is a cold weather scent, good for fall and winter. You can wear this dress up or dress down for formal occasion or in the office. This is not easy to wear as this has oud on it, and something to keep in mind. Definitely not for beginners. So that is my review of this short story sample set. Let me know which one is your favorite. If you have tried any of one of them, you can hit me with a comment down below. And please hit like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. This has been your average fraghead, signing off.